Hey church, thanks for taking time to watch this video. I want to share something with you, pretty amazing in what God is doing, but I have here in my hand, these are notes from the very first sermon that we had at Church of the Lakes. So August 13th, 2017, we launched the church and we launched with a series called Dream Again. And what I was really feeling at that time was, you know, I was tired of looking around at our city and seeing people just survive, and we wanted them to thrive. You might recognize that name from something. And the reality is when I went back and I looked at this, I couldn't believe what God has done over 3.5 years. I just want to share you a little bit of these notes from the very first sermon. It says this, the very first scripture of the very first sermon at our church was from Proverbs. It says this: if people can't see what God is doing, they stumble all over themselves. But when they attend to what He reveals, they are most blessed. And we talked about that day. What does it look like to dream again? To believe God on a big scale. Some of the notes here say dreams are the language of God, right? That quite often this world weighs us down, and man, there's so much going on in our community right now and our nation. In politics and COVID and school and mask and this and that man, it can get a little bit of maddening, and sometimes we can get callous to these dreams. We can walk away from dreams, but that's the language of God. The next one says dreams are the target of your faith, right? That God gives us these dreams that are targets that we can have faith and trust Him and see what He might do. And as we launch this church, I don't think we had in mind. We launched it with Dream Again, and I'm not sure I even knew how to dream the things that are going on currently that I have to share with you today. It says, dreams have a habit of coming true. Man, how true is that? And you'll see that as we kind of review things that God has done today. What stops us from dreaming? A wrong view of life, that we get messed up by all the things in the world going on around us, and we lose our way. A wrong view of self, that we forget we are wonderfully made. Are we perfect? No, I'm a mess. Anybody else a mess? Yes, you are in good company, but you know what? God has got it all under control, and He wants to use us anyway. And then a wrong view of God, that we think that maybe He's fallen asleep or He's not paying attention. And I need you to hear something. In the middle of the madness that's going on around us, God is moving. God's kingdom is expanding, and we have to, like the scripture said, we have to attend to what He's revealing. In other words, we can just play church. We can do church the way we've always done it and, you know, just kind of hope that people will show up and all that. Or we can attend to what God is doing, which I think is one of the unique things that God has called us to do and His DNA of Church of the Lakes, right? Is that we're in Leesburg High School. Like we felt a move here, and now we see God doing things like, here I am standing in the rock. Who would have ever thought we would start basically a ministry of the church in a public school that is open during the school day while they're here. And so kids check in and they can get clothes, they can get feminine products, shampoo, soap, whatever. There's new underwear here, there's all school supplies. This is a place where, do you know, 1,200 children checked in, 1,200 teenagers checked into this room because of a dream, because of a thought of, okay, God, what are you doing? And just attending to what He's doing and moving in that way. And so we got the opportunity to move in here in Leesburg High School, and we invested in the school. No, we're not just a renter. We come here to make a difference because we felt God revealed to us He wants to do a work here, and man does He, right? We're so grateful for Principal Randolph and the relationship that we have with him. And so we came in and we put in new carpet and we put in lighting and all kinds of cool stuff. We got the big old screen on the stage and this lighting and this that they get to use, and they're so amazingly grateful for, right? Like so many cool things that are going on. And stadium sound? For 5 years, our sports teams here at Leesburg High School had no sound in the stadium. Man, did we look like the redheaded stepchild or something, right? It was embarrassing for people to come, for our students and for our community. And you, church, you put a new sound system in, right? And a legacy that's being built. Why? Just because we attend to what God is revealing. And I think God reveals to us by bringing us people that have ministry. The things that God has gifted them, and God continues to bring us people. It's amazing how we do that. And so I want to share with you, because I'm calling this the summer of expansion, because that's a review of some things God has done because we were trying to attend to what he was revealing. But let me tell you about some things that are coming up this summer. Let's go over the auditorium. So I already mentioned the carpets, right? And the lighting and the sound, this big, huge screen behind me, and the school absolutely loves that. Well, we're gonna do two more upgrades this summer here in the auditorium for the school, and also they will greatly benefit us. One is the bathrooms. We're really excited. A group of our people are going to upgrade the bathrooms, redo them, remodel them, and so we're focused on doing that this summer. And then the other one, if you've been at church for the last 2 weeks, you might have noticed a difference in the sound. And the reason being is we are putting in a brand new, amazing sound system that we've gotten that is going to be installed permanently, which one of the things that's going to be great for us is no more setup and take down for our worship team, which is fantastic, or at least very little of that. But also the school is stoked about the reality of having a brand new sound system. The sound is way better in here, so that's being installed over the next couple weeks. Now, it's going to do something that's amazing. It's sort of a trickle effect. I told you it's a summer of expansion, so I'm about to take you through a whole bunch of projects. We got the bathroom and the sound here, but because we're doing the sound system here, the old sound system we had, which was originally for smaller spaces and smaller rooms, but all of that equipment is going to go over to another building that we have called the Way Building. Let me show it to you. Welcome to the Way Building. All right, so here we are in one part of the Way Building that is called the Worship Center. We're under construction here. You might see some people behind me. You might hear some saws or some different things, or who knows, the lights might go out. But we are under construction here. Let me just give you a vision. What are we doing here at the Worship Center? We have a vision of developing, there's the saws right there, developing a place where our worship team can not only rehearse, I don't know if you know this right now, but our worship team has been, they have been practicing and rehearsing in the office, in our little bitty tiny office. And I mean, they're crammed in there. So having this space already has been amazing for them. So all the sound equipment that we are getting to take from the auditorium, we're bringing here for this system. So they're gonna have it set up here where they can train sound people. We can have worship nights. They can invite an the musicians from other churches or different people, or just have worship nights, jam nights, have writing nights. We would love to have the opportunity that God might speak to our musicians and maybe write some of our own music. So the worship center here is under development, and here's what we're gonna be able to do because of the sound system we're using there. We've got some of the sound here, but that's not all. We're also gonna be able to put some of the sound over in the next part of this building, which is the new place where our youth will meet. Let's go check it out. So here we are in another room that is part of the Way Building, and this will actually be a game room for the youth group. Over in the corner, there's an office. That'll be Eden's office, who's our youth director. Bathrooms over here. This is going to be the snack bar. So again, here we are under construction and providing this opportunity in this place for our youth group. And the reason that we've had to provide this space is, quite honestly, our youth group outgrew our Thrive Teen Center, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But let me show you another part of this building that'll be used by our youth. So here we are in another part of the building, and this actually is going to be an auditorium for our youth group. In the corner here, we're going to build a stage. There'll be the sound system. Again, more of the system that comes from the high school is going to be able to come and be used here. So the reason we developed this Way Center, worship center that you see, and youth, this will be used for youth, but also all of this can be used for multi-purpose. So whether it be small groups, gatherings, other events, things, whether it's our seniors, ABF, anybody else, this space will also be able to be used. Now again, the reason we've had to develop this space for our youth is because they outgrew the Thrive Center. Let's go over to the Thrive Center, talk about what expansion's happening there this summer. Let's go check it out. So every afternoon, from 2 to 7. This center is open for teenagers for free. All the activities are free. We have volunteers that come, spend time with them, love on them. But I want you to know there is a biblical mentoring program that we have that we walk them through. We've had 5 kids be saved through the program, because once you get to lesson 3, you have an opportunity to start a relationship with Jesus. And 2 of those kids actually went to summer camp this summer and are getting baptized. Amen. So we see the fruit from what is going on here. As a matter of fact, one of the kids that came here, when he first came, his social skills were really challenged. Really had a hard time having a conversation with him. I wondered, was he special needs? I really wrestled with, how do I deal with this kid? And what we finally came to realize is he just was so unsocialized from being at home and being isolated. And I think having issues of being picked on at school and those kind of things. What we've seen though is over this last several months is this kid has blossomed. Not only has he gone through our program, accepted Jesus, and he's one of the ones that just got baptized, but the reality is he is socially become so much better with his social skills and his ability just to have conversation. I was talking to him the other night thinking, wow, God, you have done a work, and you have changed this boy's life has changed because of this center. How amazing is that? We have several stories just like that one. Another one of our young men, he got jumped in the neighborhood here, and when he went home, there wasn't a whole lot of support there necessarily, and so he came here and he was loved on and kind of talked through what he had been through and kind of the trauma of that scenario. And it was amazing to see our team be able to love on and bring him in. That same child has become an active part now, even of the church and what's going on here. But I didn't just bring you here to tell you stories of the life changes happening. I brought you here because we've been talking about things that are expanding, right? Let me tell you what's expanding here. In the same week that this kid got jumped and that whole issue happened, that same exact week, there was a couple that came to church. It was their 3rd week at Church of the Lakes, and they had found the church and they said, Pastor Mike, we've got to have lunch. So we went and we had lunch. They tell me their story. They're both black belts, and their kids are black belt. Their son was a national champion, is now a coach for the U.S. national team in kickboxing, has a big school up in Minnesota, and they said, we really felt like God put it on our heart there at the teen center. We would like to teach martial arts and self-defense in the exact same week that this happened. Matter of fact, when we told this kid that this was now a new opportunity, his words were, I won't be afraid to walk down the street anymore by myself. Now, you want to talk about changing lives. So the expansion that we have going on here is not only are we going to have this building and this facility, we're adding another building. Let's go outside. So here we are in the, let's say, backyard of the Thrive Center, right? And our kids come out here. There's behind the camera, there's a basketball goal. They come out here, and this is 9 square, probably the most favorite game to be played here at Thrive. And so this is a place where they come out and gather, play games, all kind of stuff. The field you see behind you is also part of the property. Now, I want you to remember, this property was just given to us by a couple. And I said earlier in this video that God would confirm your dreams. Man, is there any more confirmation that somebody that we do not know, does not come to our church, just says, wow, what you're doing for the community here, have it. So with that, we're expanding here. So right out there in the grass, right over here, we just met this morning with a modular company. We are putting a 24 by 36 modular building. It'll be all wide open, one big room with a bathroom in the corner, so we can house not only the martial arts program that we're hoping will start the 1st of September. Again, this couple's coming. They said, we'll pay for everything. We'll buy t-shirts for the kids. We'll do the belts. And then, Pastor Mike, here's the belt levels. You come up with a spiritual component that they have to complete to get each one of their belts. So coming in September, Thrive Martial Arts. How amazing is that? And Miss Dawn Anderson, Pastor Doug's wife, she's certified in fitness, especially for our 55 plus community. She'll be doing fitness classes, and this will give us just another space, just like over at the Way Building. This gives us another space for leadership meetings, for small group gatherings, or men's groups, women's groups, whatever else. So you may not be able to picture it right now, but right out in there, very soon we hope to be adding a modular building. Now here at the Thrive Center, we are 2 blocks from the high school, and we are 2 blocks from Oak Park Middle School. What we've come to figure out is the majority of our kids come from Oak Park Middle School. Guess what? Part of the summer expansion, Oak Park Middle School. Let me show you what I mean. Let's go check it out. So like I said, so many of our kids come from Oak Park Middle School to come down to the Thrive Center. Well, here we are at Oak Park, and we're out in a portable building that has been designated to be a new rock here at Oak Park Middle School. So just like we talked about earlier in the video, we looked at the one at Leesburg High School. Here we are in what is under construction, as you can see, but will soon be a rock to start this new school year. We are so grateful to God that He has sent Principal Langley, who is a strong believer and an amazing, amazing woman who is now the principal. She has opened us with open arms. And so church, as another part of our summer expansion, here we are, Oak Park Middle School, brand new rock that'll be open starting in August when school starts. Well, church, is your head spinning yet? Right? Summer of expansion. You had no idea until we walked you through all that's going on. And it's amazing to me. I started with these notes, and I want to go back to these notes to end this video. So the last 3 points that I read to you earlier was, a God dream will seem risky. Yeah, it's risky. We're spending a whole bunch of money. We're not doing church as normal. We've got buildings over here and buildings over there, and we set up and take down, but hey, this is what God's called us to do, because when you pay attention to what God reveals that He's doing, right? Our job is not to go about our day and ask God to bless it. Our job is to figure out what is God doing and get involved with that, right? The second one here says, a God dream requires God involvement. I'm going to tell you right now, that's the confirmation we've seen over and over with people giving funds, with a couple that doesn't even go to our church, grabbing a vision of a teen center and giving us a property. Just a new principal coming in that says open arms, come into our school as well. I mean, what churches have the opportunity to have, where I'm sitting right now, our church office, 2 blocks from the high school, 2 blocks from a middle school, where we have unbelievable access and relationship to change lives. And that's the last one. It says a God dream changes lives. And the whole reason that we're doing this summer expansion is to change lives. I've told you some stories at the Rock, 1,200 kids checked in this year. I wonder how many kids will check in next year at Oak Park Middle School's Rock, right? We talked about kids at the Thrive Center that now are at summer camp. I wonder how many kids that'll come from martial arts will end up getting saved and baptized next year at summer camp. We talked about the New Way Center. I wonder how many worship leaders will be developed or worship songs might be written. How many teenagers are going to have the opportunity to be discipled and grown, or small groups in any and all of these buildings? So church, welcome to the 2021 Church of the Lakes Summer Expansion. Isn't God good? And so I just want to say here, I just wanted to communicate it all to you, to be able to let you hear what all that God is doing on, and then say, hey, if God puts it on your heart to give, to be a part of the summer expansion, we've added on the online where you can give to the summer expansion for any one of these particular projects or just kind of in general. So would you pray about that? Whatever God puts on your heart, make that happen. But goodness gracious, continue to pray that God gives us wisdom in all this expansion and expansion of staff and people that have got to oversee and dream team leaders, that we continue to attend to what He reveals, right? So that we find ourselves continually blessed. Thank you, church, for being a part of what God is doing. And man, I can't wait to see what He's got for us in the future. Have a great one.